Hello, everyone. Welcome to the post-game press conference. I will ask the players a few questions, and then I will open up the floor to the press. The microphone is on my left. You may line up now if you choose to. Please restrict your questions to just one initially, but you may go back to have follow-up questions afterwards. My first question is to the world champion. How did you feel coming into today after having a difficult game 3? What was the strategy playing today with the white pieces?
Well, since I have a rest day to recover from the tough lose, today I'm in a very good mood, and I choose this opening idea to try to surprise my opponents, and it worked well, not so bad, and by the advantage is very, very small, and it neutralized my initiative. So the draw is it's a very balanced game, and maybe a good played game.
He mentioned he tried to surprise you. Were you surprised in this opening line?
Yeah, it was not a completely new line for me. I had seen it before somewhere, but it was a bit of a surprise, and I was playing over the board from very early on. But I think I reacted well enough, and at some point I felt like he had maybe some slight edge, but I quickly neutralized it, and then I was kind of pushing. But okay, it should never really be anything serious for either of us.
Were there any critical moments in the game that you were looking at? Anything sharper, maybe anything risky, or did it just seem like it was just a solid game and he played very well?
Well, after 95, here if I play f4, I think it's not so accurate, since after a4 he can counterplay with a5, and if I take, he can knight c5 and then take back the pawn. Maybe here f4 deserves some attention, and then I go here.
So the thought of f4 was on your mind, but you decided to...
Yes, also here f4 is quite interesting, but maybe he can do this, and I cannot take due to take, and c5, bishop d3 is coming. So it's mainly about f4. If I want to pressure, I have to play f4 at some point. But here I thought f4 is just not so good due to knight c4, so I try to play the c4.
Did you see this idea of f4 as he pointed out? Was this the line you were prepared with knight c4?
Yeah, f4 was one of the ideas that I'd always had to consider, but here I think after knight c4 I'm just at least slightly better. So yeah, f4 I considered, but I thought it involved some risk for white, and yeah, he was not ready to take that risk, I think.
The result today, usually in these kind of matches, a draw with black is a great result. Is that your feeling?
Yeah, sure. It's a solid game with black, and I was even towards the end, I was maybe had some chances to press better. So with black, this is all you can expect, in a match.
You had, again, the white pieces. You wanted to have something, but not getting anything out of it. Is there any feeling of disappointment, or you feel like it's a world championship match, draws happen?
Well, when I saw this position, because I chose a somehow a little bit risky plan to play like this and not to play the usual d4. So actually I'm not sure the evolution after that. And he surprised me with this knight e5 low in f4. And here, yes, I thought maybe it's time to settle for the draw, and I didn't see the way to first. Maybe the computer point out some great ideas with bishop a6 first, but I didn't see it.
So I guess my question is, again, with the white pieces, usually you want to get a little bit more action. Didn't get it today. Is it no big deal? There's still 10 games left.
Yeah, today with this line, I tried to play it safe, and yeah, it turns out I get a little bit advantage. But the score is still balanced, so there are more games to come.
All right, we'll take the first question from the press. And you may line up to prepare for the next question.
The media, and this is for Ding Liren. So Ding, you had never played this setup in the past. At least I didn't notice any games with this setup for you. And it seems like you're hitting a brick wall against Gukesh with the white pieces. So following up on Maurice's question, will we be expecting this type of unconventional openings in the future, or will you be playing more mainline variations in the coming games? Without going into too much detail, I understand.
Well, with this line, of course, I prepared a lot, and yeah, this line is new to me, but with reversed color, it reminds me of some kinds of Queen's Indian, like e6, b6, knight f6, and I have very good memories in Queen's Indian, so you can see this. I play white pieces like black, but with the tempo up.
Next question.
Bhidya from ChessBase India. My question is to Gukesh. Magnus came to his 2013 match with a chef, and food plays a very important role in such a long tournament. How comfortable are you with the food here? And
We have some arrangements that ensures that I have some food that I like and have some healthy food. And I'm quite happy with what I'm eating every day, and I feel good physically and mentally. So yeah, it's all good.
Mike Klein with chess.com. I know a lot didn't happen in the game today, so Gukesh, I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you sort of a random question. But Garry Kasparov has said many times that he believes a bit in numerology. He was born on the 13th of April, and he was the 13th world champion. And I couldn't help but notice you're trying to become the 18th world champion, and you're 18 years old. So if Kasparov believes in numerology, I'm just wondering if you've made this connection and if it means anything to you. I know you're just attempting to be the world champion.
I guess I should say I kind of believe more in Fischer's quote. I believe in good moves. So yeah, I'm just trying to make good moves. Yeah.
Hi, Theo from leechess.org. The other day we had Levon Aronian on our live commentary, and we were talking about time management strategies. I noticed today that the time management of both players was far more even than it has been in previous games. I'd like to ask both players if you have a time management strategy, or like Levon, you just see what the position is like on the board and then decide how to use your time.
You first?
I think it depends on positions. Because the day before yesterday, my position very dangerous after rook g1, hg. So I had to come up with ideas to not to be much worse. I need to find the critical move in this position. So I had to spend a lot of time. But today the position quiet, and it seems not so much happens. So I can play a little bit quickly.
Yeah, I think mostly the time management depends on how the position is. I mean, some positions you need to spend more time, some positions not so much. And today, yeah, the position was mostly quite simple with not a lot of sharp stuff happening. So I guess that explains it. But yeah, the previous games there were some very sharp things happening. So yeah.
To both players, do you do something to maintain your poker face throughout the game? I know it's a bit of a random question, but when you see your opponent making a mistake and you know it's a mistake and now you have the advantage, but you do not want to show any signs of body language that you know the opponent has made a mistake. So do you just like, I don't know, look at yourself in the mirror and maintain a poker face?
Well, since I cannot see my reaction during the game, since I'm the one who is playing, so I don't know if I am able to maintain this kind of poker face if my opponent made some mistakes. I think I will maybe show some inspirations when I saw some mistakes from my opponent.
Yeah, in general, I think I'm not a very expressive player. Like on the board, I mean, I do show some emotions from time to time, but in general, I'm more of a person who always maintains a poker face. So, yeah, I mean, if there is some important moment where I have to like maintain some poker face, mostly I remember some instances where it was important and I managed to trick my opponent with a poker face. But in general, I don't really think too much about it. Yeah.
Asking again on behalf of FIDE social media, but this time from someone who wishes to remain anonymous, and it's for you both. What do you think are your opponent's strengths and weaknesses?
Maybe it's too early to answer this question.
I mean, I think we both are pretty well-rounded. At the top, you need to be quite universal these days. So, I mean, there are some minute details, I guess, which I guess I'll try my best to show on the board.
I'm from the organization. I have questions for Ding Liren and for both. First of all, 请丁立人谈一下今天的对局。
So I'm translating. I have a question for both Mr. Ding Liren and Mr. Gukesh. The first question was to Mr. Ding Liren. Oh, okay. 我有两个问题 ，sorry, this is in Chinese. So, 我有问题想问那个丁连先生和顾开世先生。我们先问丁连第一个问题。
第一个问题就是请丁立人谈一下今天的对局，用中文就行。
这盘棋，表面上看起来是一盘波澜不惊的和棋，但实际上中间应该还是有点内容的。然后，比如说就什么时候走 F4，是否要走 F4，这个在一些关键的局面中。然后我后来还是屈从了内心的软弱，选择了一个比较稳妥的下法，推了马 F3，然后在这之后这盘局面也就导向了和棋吧。
So the question was to Ding Liren first, if you could describe the course of the game in Chinese. And Mr. Ding Liren replied that he had maybe some chances for some slight initiative with F4, so there were some subtleties in details in this position. But eventually it headed towards sort of calmer territory and the game sort of fizzled out towards a draw towards the end.
第二个问题就是想问一下两位棋手，如果可以在任何一个时代和任何一位伟大的棋手对局的话，你们会选择是哪位棋手？谢谢。
So the second question is to both players. If you had like a time capsule and you could travel back and play any player anytime, which player would you prefer to play?
I think Fisher. I mean, he's someone I really admire, and I think, yeah, it would be cool to play a game against him.
Okay, thank you.
应该是回到古代吧，就和一个已经去世的世界冠军。我想到可能是塔尔吧，他有着别具一格的风格。
Yeah, I'd like to travel into the past, someone who's already no longer with us. I think my pick would be Mikhail Tal to play some games with.
Thank you. Next question.
Troll Scat from Danish Chess Magazine. I would like to ask a question to both players. What was the most fun non-chess activity that you did yesterday on your free day?
I mean, I played some sports and I rested a bit. So, yeah, nothing too much fun, but some relaxing activities.
Well, I go for a walk in the morning, and then in the evening I go out to have some dinner.
Keeping in mind that a lot of amateur chess players are watching, I think one of the things they're most impressed with is your ability to memorize and remember games from the past. And it was pointed out by Jan Timon on Twitter that this idea of b3, bishop a3 in the first 5 moves was played by Petrosian against Mikhail Tal at the Curacao candidates in 1962. To a lot of amateurs, they may never have seen b3, bishop a3 in the first 5 moves. I'm just curious, are your memories good enough to remember this game? Especially Ding, because you played it. So was this a game that came up in your preparation at all?
No, I think the idea was proved by modern engines rather than old games.
Gukesh, this random game in your memory bank at all?
Okay, I was not aware of this game, but it's not something that is completely new to me. I've seen this kind of ideas before, but yeah, nice to know that like a historical game had been played in this position.
Yeah, not the exact same pawn structure, but bishop a3 in the first 5 moves. But anyway, thanks for your answer.
Okay.
Yeah, just another quick question based on something Levon again said the other day. He said that Gukesh's play reminded him of a young Fabiano Caruana. So I'll just be interested to hear both players' opinions on, if they believe that's an accurate statement, or perhaps there's another player that the style reminds them of.
I'll let you answer first.
Yeah, I think. I mean, we are a bit different, but I can see both me and Fabi. We are we also had similar styles when we were younger, and also still as styles as mostly sharp and fighting. So I can see that, but honestly, I cannot think of many players who style resembles me. So, but yeah, Fabi is one of the candidates, I think.
Yeah, another question to Gukesh.
Was it for both players or just him? I thought he said both. Do you think that his style resembles Fabiano Caruana's style? Your opponent's style resemble Caruana's style?
Yeah, Fabiano Caruana, he calculates a lot during every course of the game, and yeah, they also have very good opening preparations, and but before I didn't make the comparison between them.
Next question.
Another question to Gukesh. What was your idea when you played the move knight to e5, and what were your ideas if the opponent had played f4 in that move?
Yeah, knight e5, I was basically trying to kick his knight with some b6 c5 at some point. And it just felt like a good move, knight placing on the center, and then f4 I thought in general it's a bit weakening, because if I manage to exchange his d4 knight, then he can never play d4, and it's f4 just looked like a move which would turn out to be risky in the long run. So it was maybe I would have gone like knight g6, knight e7 or something. But yeah, it was mostly based on the fact that after f4 he can never play d4. So yeah.
For Gukesh, from a social media follower, va_Ronson, but it's something a lot of people want to know, is how is it that you articulate all your responses so well at your young age?
Like, I guess even though I'm still young, I mean, I have been doing interviews since, like, since I was even younger. So, maybe I'm still not great at it, but it's much better at it than I was before. So, yeah.
Let's make this the last question.
Thomas Lochte, Schachmagazin 64, Chess Magazine 64 from Germany, Otto Borick. About the final position. You could even do the move King e5 instead of King e3. It's a draw, but was it an attitude of politeness not to try to have a pawn up or something? Yours, Mr. Liren.
If king e5 would lead to a pawn up endgame, I would definitely go for it. But I saw after rook d2, f3, and rook d3, I need to go king e4 again, and then after rook d4,
it's drawn anyway. But I was asking about an attitude of politeness not to try it.
Yeah, just a try for 2 more moves, maybe.
That concludes today's press conference. Tomorrow will be Game 5 at 5 p.m. local time. Everyone, have a good night. Thank you.